Good evening, everyone. How are we doing this evening? I hope we're all well. Excuse me. So I burping a bit. Apologies. But yeah, I hope we're all well. I think we're on time. Hopefully. Hopefully, he says. I can't really remember what time I put up today. I hope it was 6. I think it was 7. Guys are cringe. Yeah, 6 o'clock. Yeah. So we're a minute early. Oh, usually we're about 10 minutes early, but today we're only a minute early. So we're improving. So we have a good bit to talk about. We were live yesterday for a few minutes. Not for long, we just briefly were live for about, what was it, about 30 minutes, something like that. Yeah, 30 minutes, I would say. So yeah, it was only kind of, we do it every once in a while. If I have a few minutes, I will go live just to have a chat with people. Because a lot of people sometimes will be busy on a Saturday, particularly on the Wednesday, just to have a chat with people. Usually we didn't go into big discussion about many things yesterday. It was just kind of briefly. We touched on a few things. Now, of course, everything is wild in the world. Of course, nothing is ever simple. We'll give it a few minutes. The usual thing, obviously, when we start live streams, we give it a few minutes for people to get in and all that. It sounds like a pub, but give it a few minutes. Now, I did upload a video there, but I think it is uploaded. I think so. It should be because I had it scheduled to upload. Yeah, it uploaded. Right, okay, that's great, lovely. It's not that exciting of a video, but still, nonetheless, it's an interesting thing, nonetheless. Give me a moment, sorry. Just switching this around. Switcheroo. That's what we're playing. We're playing Switcheroo. Everybody's still talking about this Bertie Hound thing. Are we still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? As they said before, famous Donald Trump club. We're still talking about Jeffrey Epstein. We're still talking about Bertie Hound. I know that sounds even worse. But yeah, we're still talking about Bertie Hound. We're about a week nearly. Well, not a week. It's a bit less than a week. But we're still talking about Bertie Hound. So yeah. But yeah. Still think about that time Donald Trump said it. We're still talking about Jeffrey Epstein. Like that age well. Hello, Greenface. Catching any poach? Oh, Jesus. We're not catching much. It's very dry, the place. There's no catch. There's no fish. No fish in the sea. But I hope we're well this Saturday, Greenface. I hope all is good. So yeah, hopefully a few people will be in. Eels. Actually, funny enough, the first time I seen an eel, I thought it was a snake. Like when I was really younger, because I remember we were fishing one time. Like it's hard enough to see an eel. You won't see it that way. Rarely you see an eel like about. And I remember when I was younger, seeing an eel for the first time. I thought it was a snake. But that's what I thought when I was younger. Now this is back fucking donkeys years ago. I must have been about 6 or 7, but about 6 or 7 or 8, around that age. I thought it was a snake, but it was an eel. I can't remember. I think I've seen one recently enough. I've seen one recently enough, actually. Yeah. That was over in Finland, actually. Yeah, I seen an eel. It was in kind of the water type things, like that fish and stuff at the zoo, and so I was looking at them. And I think it was an eel, yeah. Was it an eel? Yeah, well, I think it was an eel. I can't remember. I think it was, yeah. It was some kind of an eel. Anyway. I don't know. It wasn't probably the ones you get in Ireland, but there was some kind of an eel. But yeah, go fishing someday. Anybody ever watched that movie Gone Fishing? I don't know if anybody ever seen it. Eddie Murphy and stuff was in it. This is back probably, I don't know, in the 80s or something like that. But it's a good movie. It's a funny movie. I don't know if anybody ever watched it. Gone Fishing. Because it's actually a funny movie. I don't know if people probably ever watched it. But it's funny. You look it up tonight. It's funny episode, funny stuff in it. But yeah, a lot of people thought we were gone fishing yesterday, which would be weird. Literally, I was at college yesterday, and I came home to go fishing. Like if I was going fishing, I would stay the day. I would be doing it for the day. If that makes any sense. I wouldn't just turn up in the evening to do it. Even though they say night time's the best time to catch the fish. Often people that I know that fish and stuff, they would go out like at night time, just before the sun goes down. They go out. Like a lot of them would go out around this time actually, when the sun, well, not now, but in the winter time they would have, when the sun was going down. Don't know. They said to get the fish better. I don't know what logic there is in that, but speaking of fish, there used to be a place in the town that used to sell fishing baits and stuff. It used to sell shotguns too. You know, touched upon the Finlandia, yes, earlier. Jeez, the cocktails. Don't do Molotov cocktails. Anyway, whatever you do, don't do that. Cocktail consumption. Yeah, cocktails. Like I never had them. I never drank alcohol. But don't do Molotov cocktails. We don't want that. Don't be doing that. Because they are dangerous Molotov cocktails. Hello, Devil. How are you doing? Good evening. Hope all is well. But don't be doing that bit. But the cocktails are deal. Because I know people who get them, like, get one a week or something like that, and it's deal. Like, some of them are nearly €30 just for one small cocktail in the glass. It's insane. Like, the man down here who has the restaurant, the Derrigo Inn here, they have a whole cocktail bar, they put it in the back. I don't think it does that well. I don't think many people are that interested, because the context of deal, compared to, say, a pint of Guinness, you get a big pint of Guinness, it's about maybe €10. The cocktail would probably be nearly €30 for just a small glass, even though I suppose it's a bit more stronger. But in Finland and stuff like that, there would be water, basically. The alcohol and stuff is basically water. Because it's because there's loads of alcohol, etc. Oh, Jesus, not what they call it, the poaching. Don't be starting with the poaching. We don't want that. The revenue would be after you. Poaching is actually still a thing. What was it? The revenue and customs seized poaching in Cavan about 4 or 5 weeks ago. They seized a load of poaching in barrels and stuff. So people are still shining poaching around here. It's not as frequent, but it still happens. It's poaching. Because somebody told me somewhere where they were selling it out of some house one time. But the people moved away. No, this is back 3 or 4 years ago. Around the pandemic, yeah, they were selling poaching out of the house. And it was strong poaching. It was really, really strong poaching. Like, really, really strong poaching. I didn't have it, but I know people did. 2 or 3 people got sick over it. It was bad. It was very strong. It's very pure stuff. But the Gaudi never got the people because they went left before they got them. Yeah, that's just typical. Hello, Dogman. How are we keeping? Hope all's well. Have you any new to the parish? Hope we have plenty. There's one he's not new to the parish. He's not only after coming, he's here a good while. But he's from Romania, etc. And he's caused a lot of trouble. 73 convictions. Imagine he's 73 convictions and he's only 32 years old. Think about that. 73. By the probably time he gets to 40, he could have 100 or more. Like, it's insane. And then we have somebody that went around with a meat cleaver a few times. Well, one time, sorry. So we have a lot. We have a good few, but maybe not as much as other places. Particularly around Dublin and stuff, of course, but not so much. In Blackwell, in Red Dead Redemption, you're talking about. Into the bones. Well, I don't know, but the poaching, the thing with the poaching is it's so pure and it's so full of alcohol. You don't know what they put in too. That's the thing. And 3 or 4 people got sick. They got very badly sick over it. Like, whatever they got, it was a very bad dose. And they kind of all fucked off after that. Because one of them nearly died, I think. One of them was like nearly dead. It was that bad. Whatever they put into it, it was very strong. It's unregulated, I suppose. It's not like somebody's testing it and stuff. It could be anything in it. Yeah, it used to be terrible green phase back like in Donegal particularly. Around the coast, there was awful lot, like in Donegal. There was oftentimes they used on small islands and stuff, poaching distilleries and stuff. Oh, the fellow that's doing all these crimes, I don't know where he belongs. I think he belongs in Romania. That's the bit I'm saying. Because 73 times, at least he's off to prison for 5 months now, but should be out in 5 months' time to be going back in again. At this point, just Jesus Christ. Like 73 convictions, he's just over 30, like, good God. So by the end of his life, he could have maybe 500 convictions. That's what you need to think about it. That's quite insane. They could have, who knows? That's what I'm saying, but they never found out because the Gaudi didn't get them. The Gaudi went looking for them, they were long gone. Because then they found out they got sick, and that's how it all came about. That's how I found out about it too, because the people got sick, and everyone was like, "How did they become sick and stuff?" And that's how it all unraveled, basically straight away after that. But they didn't get the people; they were long gone. So who knows where they are now? But they're probably long gone. There were people from Dublin that was doing it. They were like Dubliners, weird Dubliners. They're probably back in Dublin, I say, although some were. But sure, the people recovered. Thankfully, they did recover. If they didn't recover, there would have been a lot more about it, because obviously would have died. There would have been a huge thing over it. But thankfully, they did recover. But, that happened a few years ago. That it is dangerous poaching, so I said to people not to drink it, because it is dangerous. You don't know what you're drinking, to be honest. You don't know what's in it. So just for your safety, because again, it could kill you. It really could kill you. Now the majority of it probably would be fine, like the drink and stuff. But it's just that you could get a bad dose, and you don't want to risk it. That's the majority answer. Won the car, Jesus. Yes, we could won the car on it. But yeah. Yeah, no, it's not as wild as it used to be. Years ago, it used to be crazy. With the PUBG. But yeah, thankfully it's not as bad. But yeah. So yeah, we get started. There's a good few things I want to talk about today. So first of all, it's somebody's birthday today. Guess whose birthday it is today? Not mine, just to say. But you have a guess whose birthday it is today. Just in the first note, I suppose. Have a guess. Anybody have a guess? Just to see is anybody paying attention at all. Tony Blair, no, we don't care for Tony Blair. Have another guess. Come on, somebody else have a guess. Somebody must know. Jesus. Somebody must know. Number 40. Hello, Aaron Only, but no, not number 40. Nobody cares about number 40. But no, it's Fianna Fáil's birthday today. I'm Jamaica. Why the fuck would I care for the German Chancellor? But yeah. But it's Fianna Fáil's birthday today. They were officially 100 years old today. So yeah, everybody's delighted. We're all having candles and stuff. We're all singing in the streets. Said no one, but yeah, basically number 40's talking shit. All of them are talking shit. Yes, 1926. Yes, officially today. But yeah, it's Fianna Fáil's birthday. Now, in fairness, Fianna Fáil used to be years ago. Used to be the party for the Gaels, basically. Too, the same as Fine Gael. Like you've seen in the Rome Manifesto from back in the time, back in the 1920s, the 1930s. That they were very pro-Irish, about looking after the Irish and keeping the Irish here, and sovereignty and independence and reuniting with Northern Ireland. Unfortunately, that's all gone. That days are gone. Them days are long gone, unfortunately. But back when Fianna Fáil was founded, of course, Eamon De Valera was the leader of Fianna Fáil. And of course, Eamon De Valera was very pro-Irish and very pro-Catholic and very pro everything Irish, basically, let's put that way, because he wanted to create a Celtic Ireland, basically. And again, the word is too in the thing that rather than self-sustaining island, that the Irish people can self-sustain themselves and basically look after their own country. Of course, them days are long gone. And even I would say, even coming up to the 1960s, the 1970s, Fianna Fáil was somewhat still that kind of party. It's only in the last maybe 20 years you've seen that happen, that they've kind of just turned on their heads. But there used to be a respectable party back when, say for example, Sean Lemass too. Of course, Sean Lemass used to be Taoiseach, and of course was in the GPO, etc., during the 1916 Rising, etc. So he was, very, what I'm trying to say, he was willing to take bullets for Ireland, basically what I'm trying to say. There's very few of them, like Micheál Martin and stuff, would be willing to, to do what they did. What I'm trying to say, like they're willing to go out and fight for Ireland and stuff. Not many of them would be willing to do that, because I'm sure if we asked number 40 or Micheál Martin or any of them, would they go out and fight for Ireland? So that way, I think we'd be better asking them all. But what I'm trying to say, the days of Fianna Fáil are over. Even we look at the polls, there's less people than ever. Like literally, if you look at the history of Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, like even back in the 1940s and the 1950s, they used to get 80% of the vote, basically, because there wasn't many other parties. There was only the Labour Party and a few other small parties. Like Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael used to get 80% of the vote. Nowadays, the last general election, they only got 32% of the vote together, basically. And that's going. It's getting worse. It's getting worse. And the reason how it's getting worse, and Fianna Fáil probably won't exist in a 50 years' time, mainly down to because nobody's voting for them, basically. What I mean by that is the old generation, the people who said, "My mother voted for Fianna Fáil, I'm going to vote for Fianna Fáil." That kind of generation. That day's long gone. That day's going. Like basically the generation that we have now, the older people, when they all die, there's nobody to replace them voters. Of course, they're bringing in people to try and replace them to vote Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, but it won't probably be enough still at the same time because you see the numbers dropping. Like the numbers are dropping like ridiculously fast. Especially because again, you have to remember the early 2000s, it was 50% of the vote. They used to get the two of them together. They used to get 50%. Now in 20, like literally barely 20 years ago, they got like 50% of the vote. Nowadays, they're only getting maybe 32, and it's going down. It's going worse and worse and worse. Like in the next election, it could be only 25% between the two of them. Like basically, Fine Gael is a bit better off than Fianna Fáil, but Fianna Fáil, particularly under Micheál Martin, is basically dying. Like it's basically on life support. Basically, what I'm trying to say. So it might not last another 100 years. Basically, what I'm trying to say. Which is not much loss to anybody because they have the opportunity to change Fianna Fáil now, but they won't do it. Yeah, well, Fianna Fáil, they have some awful people in it. I don't know where they get these people. They have awful people in it. Like Norma Foley shouldn't be anywhere near a minister. That's what I. Like her father too was a bit of a crook. You have to remember her father was in Fianna Fáil, along with Bertie Ahern and Charlie Haughey and stuff. Known for taking brown envelopes, etc. The whole lot of them were known. When Bertie Ahern was speaking of brown envelopes, Bertie Ahern has kind of just let off a bomb, just like quite literally in the middle of Fianna Fáil at the moment because they're basically all just don't know what to take at the moment because what Bertie Ahern said is basically still being talked about. Like poor Micheál Martin is desperate at the moment. But yeah. You're part of that older generation, Dog, but I'm sure you're not voting for Fianna Fáil. Wherever you are, at the end of the day, it's up to it's people's own decision who they vote for. I would say not to vote for them. If I never voted for Fianna Fáil, I won't vote for them. I won't vote for Fine Gael. But it's your own opinion. If you wish to do that, you can. That's the simple. That's democracy at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, if somebody's going to vote for something, they're going to vote for it anyway. It's what the person thinks. But I would say just look around you. What Fianna Fáil has done, they're not doing a great job. In any regard, or Fine Gael's not doing a good job in any regard too. But yeah, like to say about Sean Lemass, etc. Like the old Fianna Fáil, the people who founded Fianna Fáil were people in the Irish War of Independence, who won the Civil War, obviously the opposite side of the treaty. The majority of Fianna Fáil. Like my great grandmother would have been Fianna Fáil. Like would have been very pro Fianna Fáil, even though she was pro treaty. You'd think she would have been Fine Gael. But no, she wasn't. She was very pro Fianna Fáil. She agreed a lot with Fianna Fáil, and she was in Commission Amon, the Irish Women's Army in the War of Independence. She was very pro Fianna Fáil. She always voted Fianna Fáil, and this is back in the 1940s, 1930s, 1940s, 1950s, and of course 1960s, and then the beginning of the 70s or so. She would have always voted for Fianna Fáil. She's seen them as the Republicans. She agreed to suppose more, even though she was with Arthur Griffith and Michael Collins in the treaty. About the Anglo-Irish Treaty, but I think she thought Fianna Fáil had the best policies for the Irish people back then. I think that's what's what. Because again, you have to remember this woman too. I suppose we call it great grandmother. I keep getting mixed up with the terminology, but it is my great grandmother would be. Not my mother. My mother's mother, basically. She was in Commission Amon, the Irish Women's Army. And of course, when she was in the War of Independence, hiding people in her house and guns, etc. She obviously was putting her life at risk. Putting her life at great risk by doing what she did. There's like people who voted for Fianna Fáil back then, and the people who founded Fianna Fáil and was a part of Fianna Fáil. They were people that were in the War of Independence, when the 1916, when the GPO, when the Boland's Mill, etc. They were willing to take bullets so the Irish nation would live. The Irish nation would have its independence. What I'm trying to say, we're long past the day of that. Fianna Fáil, none of the politicians be willing to do what they did. What I'm trying to say. None of them are leaders, basically. Well, they had real leaders back then. Like Costas Martrovics too would have been, Fianna Fáil too. Hello, Paul. Sorry, I meant to get to your comment. I called Fianna Fáil voters in the coffin, the Dodge generation. Yeah, but see, a lot of them, you ask an older person, like I know a good few of them still to this day. Oh, my mother voted for Fianna Fáil, so I should vote for Fianna Fáil. You get what I'm saying? That's and regardless of what you show them and what they show, even their children take this apple might not be able to ever afford a house and stuff, but they still will say, "Oh, I'm still voting for Fianna Fáil and Fianna Gael anyway." And I think too, it's a lot because they grew up. You have to remember, if somebody's in those 60s and those 70s and those 80s, they knew nobody else but Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael. Like back in the 60s and 70s, there was no other parties but Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael. Sinn Féin didn't take those seats. It's only recently Sinn Féin has, even though Sinn Féin's not much addition nowadays, but Sinn Féin up until recently only took those seats. But there was only the Labour Party, the Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, and a few independents. There wasn't like the Social Democrats, People for Profit, and other parties. There wasn't even the Nationalist Party and other parties like that. There wasn't anything like that. There was only Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, the Labour Party, and as I say, a few independents. There wasn't like any really big choice. Basically, there's a lot of choice now too, which is good. But you get what I'm saying. Yeah, but a lot of them do. I think the thing about this, Paul, is I know one older person. They're just not bothered to vote anymore. And I get it. He's a man that's 70s up, but he's 78, I think. 78 going on 79. Like when you get to that age, when you worked all your life, you stop really giving a shit. And to be totally honest, as he said, that he might not see the next election. That's probably the truth too, that he might not see it. Because he is getting on in years. Like, it doesn't matter to him. Even though he doesn't own his own property and stuff like that, but he pays rent and stuff. It's a council house. But what I'm trying to say is, he has enough of it, basically, what I'm trying to say. Because he's near the grave and he just doesn't care anymore, basically. And I suppose in the way, if we were all that age, if I was 78, 79 now, you'd be like, oh, fuck it. What the fuck does it matter? You get what I'm saying? And it's not his fault. And I don't blame him. But he's just sick of it, the whole lot of it. He's just sick of the whole lot of it. He just doesn't want to deal with it anymore. And I suppose it's not much point of him voting to up. He could be dead in the next election, but he could vote in the next election. But he probably won't see any benefit because he'd be dead before any benefit ever comes. If that makes any sense. Incompetently, like the whole lot of them are really incompetent. Yes, if you know. Yeah, that's going to be a tough one, dog. Unfortunately. Yeah, but it is frustrating. But again, a lot of older people just give up, I think. And a lot of them are too afraid of change, too. That's the thing, too. Because you have to remember, a lot of people are afraid of change. Like something that changes. Take for example, even in your personal life. A lot of people are afraid to make changes, like change jobs and stuff. People are always a bit nervous and stuff. We wouldn't, we'll get on to what party was. I don't think we'll do much better. To be totally honest with you. Hello, Saoirse. Good evening. You're finally here. You finally got notification. But that's a good question, David. But I don't know. But a lot of people in general, like you have to remember, even in the UK and stuff, a lot of people don't see, like you see in the last presidential election, half of the people in the country didn't bother to turn up to vote. And then the people who did turn up to vote spoiled the vote. And then the other people who turned up to votes, voted for a candidate that couldn't win. So basically half of the country, probably nearly something like 80% of the electorate turned up, just didn't turn up, and then it's insane. It was an insane presidential election. Never seen the like of it. But 300,000 people went out to spoil the vote, and then only about maybe a few people voted in the election. And then the other half didn't turn up. 51% didn't turn up to even vote. So a lot of people just don't see the point. And I see it a lot on YouTube and stuff. Like, what's the point in voting and stuff? People are just sick and tired of the whole fucking lot of it. And they're probably right in a way, because you have to remember, this is why I always say, but bring back the kingdom of birth and give back the people's power. Basically, give back the people their power. Let them decide. Let the people decide who votes, in the election. No, who votes. What I'm trying to say, what laws brought in, what laws are brought in. What I mean by that is people would vote in the council chamber themselves, if that makes any sense, instead of the councillors and stuff. Because nowadays there's too much power. The councillors and politicians have too much power, and there's too much money, and there's too much influence, if that makes any sense. So it's better for the people. The people know what they want, basically. The only Irish person knows what they want. That's why I want to give it back to the people. In the 1937 Constitution, they wanted to give more people more power. Because at the moment we have a society that the politicians have too much power and the people don't benefit. And that's just a simple. Like all the politicians are multimillionaires. Like basically, what I'm trying to say is a human nature that a person would always seek to look after themselves before the people. What I'm trying to say, and we have to take that away because if we're going to live in a society like that, regardless if you elect the Pope or whoever, they're always going to look for more money, more greed, more personal money, more personal finances, more personal gain, and that's the problem. You know, on YouTube lately, being attacked on Jesus. Um, yeah, I don't know if it's 80% specifically. I think it could be 70. I'm not sure about if it's 80 or 70, but it's a good bit of legislation. Yeah, it is. We don't know exactly how much it is, but yeah, no, just how I missed your point, Greenface. Yeah, like it was around 16%. Yeah, something like 16, 15%, which was a huge amount. Like it was 300,000, nearly 300,000. Then obviously people voted for, what the fuck do you call him? What do you call the fellow that dropped out? I can't even. He's so irrelevant nowadays. I forgot how his name. But you know who I'm talking about. Oh, like that, you mean? I thought there was him being attacked, like in general. But you know, I did notice. I know Aaron only was kicked off for whatever reason. But not that I know of any other people. I don't think not yet. Well, I haven't been told of it yet. So. No, but YouTube always wasn't happy with me in general, anyway, about a few things. But I think I'm better than a lot of people. What I'm trying to say, I don't mean to say, no, I'm on a high pedestal and stuff. But at least I'm not shouting. Like I see YouTubers and stuff, often live streams and stuff, and they're shouting people down and stuff. Oh, you're a terrible person, or you have this opinion, or you have the wrong opinion and stuff. At least I'm not doing that. But yeah. But yeah. Yeah. But anyway, so we went on about Fianna Fáil. The other thing I want to talk about, what was it now? Now I can't remember what I was going to talk about. Something else I was going to talk about. Now I can't remember. Great stuff. I don't know. I just seen this. I seen this last night, but I didn't watch the video. I only watched it about 30 something minutes ago. Oh, well, thank you, Paul. It's good to have you here. I hope you enjoy your stay here. I appreciate it. I appreciate the kind words. But I don't know if people see this video about the priest in Ardone in County Meath there. He's an Italian priest. Now, you know the way that funerals, like everybody knows, Irish funerals are different than every other funeral in the world because Irish people kind of have wakes. And it's I just pause this for that, so we'll just continue. Like funerals in Ireland are very different compared to other countries, what I'm trying to say. Like in Ireland, it's more like a gathering, basically, a social gathering. It's crazy. Like other people from outside of Ireland wouldn't understand it at all, but people do. Like it's like a social event. Like I went to a funeral a few weeks ago. Like it was a remains. It wasn't in the church, but it was remains at the funeral home. And I went into the funeral home down Cavan town, and so I met shook hands with the family and stuff. Was talking to the family, but you met other people there that you haven't seen in say years. And there was a big discussion with some people because I haven't seen them in years. And it's weird now, like there's a big, huge discussion. There's a lot of laughter and there's a lot of jokes and stuff. Like it's you would nearly think you in the pub, or you think you in the dance floor, something like that. But it's weird, but it's a good kind of weird because people are seeing the good times and they talk. Oh, do you remember this happened with this person? Or do you remember he used to do this? It's a good thing. Like it's a very solace occasion. What I mean by that is, it is very sad, of course. It is very sad when somebody passes away. Particularly when there's an illness and something like that, and there's a sudden, like if it's an accident or something like that, it's very sudden. It's very shocking to people. But people in Ireland have a different way of doing things than every other country in the world when it comes to funerals. And it's a good thing because it kind of helps people recover. I do think it helps people recover. Which red triangle? What triangle? What? Where? What? Sorry, which what? What red triangle? Where do you see a red triangle? You're talking to me, Sasha. I thought there was a red triangle. I was like, oh no. The triangles are after me. But yes. But yeah, that's video, and like I can't show you, but what I'm trying to say is have a look at it. It's all over Twitter. The Bermuda Triangle, yes. But you know, I'll just show you because no, I'll not show you, but have a look at this in the Italian priest. Um, he basically, do you know the way people give eulogies at funerals? You know the way people get up and have a chat at the funeral. Basically, that's what it is, having a chat. Um, yeah, I didn't know. I was like, wait a sec. No, I just seen the red, they were like red triangle. I was like, what? Um, you know the way, like in funerals, people go up to the altar and have a chat. Um, this priest here, like the person was going too slow for the priest, and this is not an Irish priest. So I don't think he understands the way things work in this country. Um, like I was often at funerals, and they would be talking for 30 minutes. Like I kid you not. Uh, yeah, I kid you not. I've been at funerals before where people would go up and speak for 30 minutes about the person, how they used to go to the pub and how they used to do this. I remember one time, um, that I remember going to a funeral one time. I was with my father at the time, and I was going because he knew the person. And he went to this funeral. Right, listen to this. And I kid you not, the man at the altar, he must have had a few jars on him. I think he had a few jars on him because he was out the night before. Like that happens too, not all the time now, but that does happen. That people would go and get shit faced, basically, would have a drinking session. Like I even heard of things in Cavan where people would literally have drinks in the house when they have the remains and stuff. They would have wine and drinks and stuff. Like the old custom in Ireland, used to be drinks and stuff like that. It's not just prevalent that bit. People get fucking shit faced, people, and stuff. But yeah, he had a few jars on him, and he was talking about like the book's fucking weirdest stuff. Like at a funeral. This is when the coffin was there and etc. But he was on about his underwear and stuff in the church and stuff, and he didn't wear underwear and stuff. And then when the trousers fell off him, you could see the whole. I think what the way he described it. He described it such a way. I'm not even going to say what such a way it was because it's such a way he described it about seeing everything. Um, it's especially in the church and stuff like that, and but yeah, that's the thing. And he went on for about 30 minutes. That's how long. And the priest didn't say anything. Like there was a local priest, and he did like it's the old tradition in Ireland that people would go on for 5 hours talking about things. And it's the same what I say. Here's the story, and I'd be like, oh, here's the story. It's a short story, and then I go on for about an hour. So basically, the priest was like, you have to tell me in Ireland how people say it's a short. It's supposed to be a short eulogy, like a short statement on the man passing away or whoever passed away. But this person, like in the end, he has every right because his friend or whoever he was related to him, was saying about him, was remembering the good times. Basically, was saying to people, look, we had good times, and this happened, this funny moment happened, and etc. But the priest was having none of it, and he said to basically sit down. But he wasn't going fast enough, wasn't quick enough. And this is at a funeral. This is not fucking a race. Now I don't know what this Italian priest thinks it is. Does he think he's winning the marathon, or what does he think he's doing? But yeah, the bishop should get rid of him. Basically, what I'm trying to say, the bishop of Ardee, if he's any good. Now Bishop, I don't think it's Bishop Hayes here in Cavan. He's the diocese of Kilmore. I don't think that would be part of the diocese of Kilmore. But I would say to the Bishop of Ardee, he should be sent back to Italy as soon as possible. If that, he should cop on a bit. Because he shouldn't be coming here if he doesn't understand the way Irish people do. They do it different in Italy, but in Ireland they have the tradition, etc. And I do think it's disrespectful, particularly at the funeral, whatever about a wedding and stuff. But I do think it's disrespectful to rush people on at the funeral, especially when it's a grieving ceremony and stuff. It's not nice. Especially the way he spoke to the man and too, and especially because everybody was looking at him. Now the man should have probably told him to go and fuck off. Well, not use the language in the church, but to go and do one and to tell him who's being, because he's being paid to be there. The priest is not doing it for nothing. He's being paid to be he's being paid to be there. So it's not like he's doing it for charity. He's getting money for it. But I would suggest to watch the video because I just briefly wanted to touch on it because I did think it was disrespectful. Because I don't think any Irish priest would say it because they would understand the way it's done here. If that makes any sense, like the way traditions go and stuff. Yeah, like it's some wild stuff. Yeah, it's some wild stuff that happened, but it's still wild nowadays. Like as I said, but that remains. Like I went into that remains and stuff, and I met people that I hadn't seen in years, and she was chatting and we were laughing. Oh, do you remember this happened? And I was chatting and laughing. And this is when the coffin's only right there. But it's a unique thing in Ireland. And it's, I suppose, a community event too, because that's the only time you meet people. Say, for example, anybody here. I'm sure if you say, for example, in your hometown or wherever, you would work and family and stuff like that. You never have any time to yourself or to meet up with friends, etc. But the only time people meet up, basically, unfortunately, is at funerals. That's the only time anybody ever meets up, and everybody always says that. Um, you know, uh, but yeah. But I do think the priest was being very disrespectful, and I do think it was appropriate too, um, for him to say that to a person, especially at the funeral. But as I say, he should be he should have been told. Same with any priest coming here, that we have different customs here, than Italy and stuff. And that if he wants the one for fucking a marathon, he can do that. Um, but yeah, but I'm sure the family had some words for him. It's the same with the time. When we're just talking about priests and churches and stuff. It's the same with the time. There was often times that veterans, veterans of the defence forces, they have to get permission to have the Irish flag on their coffin, right, from the military. And a few times, like one time in Cavan, there was a big, huge thing. Like, it was a huge thing at the time, about 2 years ago. The priest took an issue with the Irish flag being on the coffin. Like, the priest, even though the military said, yeah, 100%. And the military even dared to carry the coffin, like, into the hearse, like, from the church into the hearse and to the graveyard. But the thing about it is, the priest took an issue, for whatever reason, he took an issue with the Irish flag and wanted it removed. He wouldn't do the funeral unless it was removed. Now, that was utterly disgraceful because the family already sought the permission of the military, and the military granted it. And there was members of the military there. And the military wouldn't, and the people that were there that knew this person that retired from the defence forces, they were fucking steaming over it, that such disrespect was shown. The priests wouldn't let the coffin into the church unless they took it off. Now, thankfully, at the end, the bishop did apologise and stuff, and I think they brought them to court over too, because it was disrespectful. Because and even at the graveyard too, they wouldn't let her put it on the coffin, and it was disrespectful because it's only at the end of the day, it is only a flag at the coffin. It's not that big of an ask. Maybe an hour in the church, and then maybe going to the graveyard. It's not that big of an ask. But whatever issue, the priest took an issue with it, and that's what happened with two members of the defence forces that served. I think it was for 10 years, 11 years, something like that, in the defence forces served in the country. But the priest, for whatever, took an issue with it. But a lot of unfortunately now for the priests, I think that's changed. I haven't heard anything since that. There was a few times down the country it did happen too, but it has changed now, thankfully, because I think the bishops and stuff have said that it's okay and stuff. Because technically speaking, that usually a priest wouldn't say, this is inappropriate to have an Irish flag on the coffin. But, technically it was never in the rules of the church that, it was allowed, etc. Like, it was at the priest's discretion, basically. That's the way I interpreted it by looking at the rules that time. That it was up to the priest if they wanted it or not. And especially for members of the defence forces, or maybe the members of An Garda Síochána Connor. And of course high-ranking politicians, etc. Maybe. That it should be public course. The people who are respectful to Ireland, which would be very few nowadays, but it would be appropriate to keep it on the flag. But thankfully, that seems to have changed. But I wasn't happy over that time. But yeah. But yeah, that happened too. So just what I'm talking about, because I know we just want to briefly touch on that when I was talking about this encounter on RD. Now, there's a few other things. We're just literally only talking about 3 things. We're still here. Now, I seen this from the Irish Times earlier on. I put it up in the Community Post that An Garda Síochána Connor have over 1,000 domestic call-outs, I suppose, reports, same thing, I suppose, a week, 1,000, which is a lot. Like, if you think about it, if 1,000 a week, I don't know how many that would be a year, for 365 days a year. That would be insane amount. We're talking about fucking God knows how much, 100,000 maybe a year. Or near enough, be 90,000, maybe 100,000. I don't know the maths of that. But they're saying there's 100, like 1,000 reports a week, which is insane. In what they say here, from the Gardaí, that a lot of it is women that have been abused. A lot of them have been abused by the boyfriend or the husband in a lot of cases too, but particularly boyfriend. Now it does happen. They do say there is like a problem with this. Some women are abusing men, like their husbands and their boyfriends and stuff. There is that going on. There's one incident actually I just seen recently. This was down in the country. I think it was in Carlow. that a woman was abusing her boyfriend, like of course control, I suppose you would call it. Like she was taking the money off him, like his money when he came home from work and stuff, and wouldn't let him do anything. Basically, she controlled his life, and then he like because he obviously was mad in love with her, basically. Like he was mad in love, would do anything for her. And I suppose love is a weird thing when it comes to that. But what I'm trying to say is, for years he put up with it and stuff, and eventually he went to the Gaudi about it. But it can happen because again they can kind of control it because anytime he said anything against, so he said, "Oh, she said I'm going to leave you and never come back." But as I say to people, you're better than this, and there's always better people out there for you. If you're experiencing domestic violence, either be a man or a woman, there's always somebody out there better than you, better for you. Basically, what I'm trying to say. So I wouldn't stay with somebody that hits you, abuses you in your house, and especially you can never see what's happening behind four walls. Unfortunately, and sorry to say that I've came across this many times. Unfortunately, Calvin, it's sadly a regular occurrence that is happening every day of the week. Unfortunately, and that's a sad thing to say, but I'm coming across. I'm not personally coming up, but I hear of it every day of the week. Basically, unfortunately, it's sadly become a regular thing in the last 10 years that every day there's something. Every day there is something when it comes to this. Like a few weeks ago, there was a woman. I don't know how it all started, but whatever happened, her boyfriend seen red, and just went fucking mad. He broke every window in her house. It was like she owned the house. He was staying with her, and this was I'm not going to say what about St. Calvin it was because just for privacy reasons for them, for the woman in particular. But he broke every window in the house and cost I don't know how much it was, in 30,000 or something damage. Like these every window, even the door window was fucking broke. Just because I don't know why he thought she was cheating on him or something. He always was suspicious that she was cheating on him, and because she was working late and stuff, coming home late from work and stuff. And that happened about 3 weeks ago in Cavan. Now he was released and stuff like that, but it's a very frightening experience. It's supposed to be come home to be met with somebody that's fucking like gone mad completely. But unfortunately, it's a regular occurrence. But it happens more to women than it does men. But it does happen to men, as we've seen with that incident in Carlo. Sorry, I'm a bit yapping on. Sorry, no, because I'm trying to not get distracted. Sorry. Don't need the rest of the world. Yes, we have our own crowd to the cause trouble. Yeah, like this fellow was saying, we're breaking the windows in our house. Like he's Irish. I know of him. I never spoke to the man. I know who he is. He is Irish, and she's Irish too. But I don't know why. Like again, she was saying, I don't. I know her too. I know in passing, if that makes any sense. But what I've been told by the incident, that whatever reason he always thought she was cheating on him and stuff. Like it's weird. It's weird, but that's what it was all about. And it was happening before. He often would look through her phone and stuff like that, and be looking through her drawer, etc., for images or anything like that. Like with some kind of, but I do think it's a mental health kind of thing in a way. I don't mean to make him like saying that it's that he's this excuses his behavior. He should be. You should have to pay for the damages, of course, whatever the prison sentence and stuff. Probably should have that too. It depends on what happens. But she probably should get the money back for the windows because it was 20,000 or so in damages. That every window, like literally every window in our house was broken. He broke like everything with it. And again, I don't even know now. I suppose we could argue we don't know all the facts about was she cheating, but still, it doesn't matter. It still doesn't give him the right to break up her property or anybody else's property for that regard. I know. Again, we don't know what she was doing, but I presume she was at work. I don't think she. Well, there's no evidence to suggest she was cheating and stuff. It'd be different if he had in the future evidence, but still, at that regard, it wouldn't give him the right to break up people's property. Just because he says, "Oh, I have evidence to say that my wife is cheating on me." It's not. I'm going to break up everybody else's property or break up our property just because she did this. You can't do that. There is like avenues to work it out. There's guidance counselors and stuff. There's marriage. There's people who help with relationships and stuff. They're the people you should probably be going to talk about if she was doing it or any concerns and stuff. But it does happen, as I say. But it does happen. But unfortunately, it's become a reality. And unfortunately, I hear it every day of the week about incidents in Cavan. Unfortunately, like half of the things I'm telling you here, like half of the stuff I know at the moment about what's happening in Cavan, etc. I don't say here just before privacy reasons for other people. because I'm told things in confidence by some people that their friends have been through this and this person's been through this. So that's why I never go into great detail, but it's happening every day of the week, unfortunately. Like this week alone, I probably could tell you about 4 or 5 instances of this happening. But all to women too. It's all these 4 cases, particularly. This was a few weeks ago, the one I just told you about. But the few ones I know of this week, um, they were all women, particularly young women, about 30s or early 30s. But it does happen to men. I've come across cases that happens to me, but it's more irregular. But it can happen. It can happen. Um, but as I say to people, you're better than this. Anybody that is in a relationship like that, the best thing to do is to get out of it, because it's never going to get better. It can get better, of course, but in the majority of cases, it doesn't work. So that in majority of cases, it really, really doesn't work. And I just say that to people. But you can always try and mend it, but unfortunately, a lot of it doesn't work, and that's the sad reality. Getting more boot in the neck, oh Jesus. Should feature on both channels, yes. So yeah, I do think, but I'm a bit more radical on the other channel. Like I'm willing to say a little bit more than I would be here. Yeah, it does, but as I say, it's not as regular for men. But it does happen. As I said about that incident in Carlo, I don't know if the person piece, but I've seen it online about it. You get what I'm saying, but it does happen. But it's more happens to the women. Because a lot of men do get jealous if they take their girlfriend and stuff. Or if a woman, like a lot of people do, a lot of men do take it. But unfortunately, a lot of people do, and I hate to say it, but Nick Flatus and stuff like that, saying about men control women, etc. Really, pretty much in a way. I don't think that helps the conversation too in a lot of regards. It's not every man, but there is some men out there that I do take, and I've come across before, unfortunately. Women do get jealous. I'm not sitting here saying that women don't, but it does happen. But it's more the man. The more a man, it's more kind of aggressive than a woman. It shows even in studies that men are more aggressive when it comes to these things than women. If that makes sense. Men are more argumentative and stuff. If that makes any sense. But it does happen. I'm not going to sit here and say it does happen. You're right in that. Yeah, it's not always possible. Yeah. But it's particularly hard when you have a child and stuff with the person. It's particularly hard to work it out. If you're in an abusive relationship with a child, etc., that's even difficult. But in the majority of these cases, the best, the plus side is they're unmarried women. They're with children, basically. They don't have children. You get what I'm saying? There's been instances, of course, of married couples fighting, but it's usually just boyfriend or girlfriend. Like it's a kind of not a long-term relationship, if that makes any sense. But it does happen. Have a cat fight over a fella? Have I ever cat? No, I never fight. Well, thankfully, I've never been in a relationship with any woman or anything. All the better. Um, but yeah, no, I do think you're happier not being involved in that. I think it can drive more attention towards what I do than you'll be worried about personal relationships and stuff. Which I do think it's a good thing for the country. It's a good thing for the county too. And especially if you want to be a councillor and stuff, I do think it's important to be focused on what you do instead of you know. Sorry, 2 seconds. But no, I just wanted the topic because it is an insane amount of numbers. When you think about it, 1,000 a week across the country, it's a lot. It is a lot. When you add it up at the end of the year, it is an insane amount. It is really just an insane amount. Now, I want to talk about this. A lot of people are talking about this at the moment, and you've probably seen in my community post that Tipperary County Council have given the order to demolish 50 houses. Now, supposedly, as you can see in the picture, they've been lying there for a long, long time. I think it's for a long, long time. But they're owned by the state, etc. But the land, like the whole house, is all in very bad condition. But still, at the end of the day, the best thing the council would have done is to do them up instead of demolishing them. Even though it would cost probably a bit more, but there's still a decent, probably decent enough houses. Now, a lot of them are, some of them are worse than others, but some of them probably could be recovered. Even in this, it says um, that a lot of them can be recovered. A lot of them here out of the 52, can be recovered. Um, but it would take a lot of work. Of course, it's not going to be done overnight. But if they would put the effort in, they would probably fit in a good few people into the houses. Like some of them are beyond. There's one or two. Excuse me. There's one or two houses here that the roof has collapsed and stuff, and there's a total loss. I understand that. I get that. But there's some of them here that are decent quality. And what I mean by that, I think they say here that over nearly 30 of them are like would if they were done up and looked after. It would take time, of course, take a load of money, but it could be done. Like 30 of them houses could be saved, but the other 30 would probably be beyond repair, basically what I'm trying to say. So they would probably have to be knocked down, them ones. But I don't think it's wise by Tipperary County Council to do this. I do think whatever ones can be repaired should be repaired, but whatever ones can't be repaired should be knocked down. But I don't think it's right. I do think they should have, because I think they straight away want to demolish them just because they don't want to deal with it. And it probably would take another, God knows how long to build them again. But it still would take a long time to do them up, regardless. Which one? Sorry, we're talking among ourselves, so we're talking. Sorry, I'm confused. So I talked about this a few weeks ago. Now, this is to do with a man from Killashandra here in Cavan. So he's been given a fully suspended sentence for sexually harassing a woman on the Ryan airplane. Now, this was the stewardess on the plane. He touched her backside, etc. Made inappropriate remarks to her, etc. With children and stuff, members of the public present too, of course. But basically, he gets off with it. He's an Irish fellow too, but he shouldn't have got off with it. It's not right that he got off with it. He should be facing tougher penalties for this crime. I need to say prison. But yeah. Paying Ukrainians. Yeah, he's only proposing at the moment. I suppose we don't know the full details. But they did propose back a while ago to pay people to leave. They did do that. But I suppose we don't know what kind of scheme it's going to be. We have to wait and see, I suppose. But the other thing I want to talk about is in Finland, in Helsinki, particularly Friday morning. Now, Helsinki was basically under lockdown, the greater Helsinki area, due to a drone. They thought they seen a drone, like a military drone. And basically it caused a lockdown. They had to close Helsinki Vantaa Airport. And they basically had to, not really implement a curfew, but saying to people to stay off the streets, etc. This was at 4:00 in the morning, so thankfully there wasn't many people about anyway. But of course, it's a really dangerous situation. But of course, it doesn't seem like there was any drone as far as it's over. I don't know what it was, but whatever it was, it caused a lot of ruckus. But just the top, and also just when we're on about Finland, Finland is favoured. And nobody's watching the Eurovision. Nobody cares about the Eurovision, but yeah, Finland's most likely to win the Eurovision. So Finland's going to probably host the Eurovision next year, which is ideal. But that's what's supposed to be going to happen. Like Finland has the goodest odds of winning this year, the Eurovision. So we'll see how that goes. But I don't think anybody cares about the Eurovision. Like, nobody seems to care about the Eurovision. Like, who's watching the Eurovision? Just hands up who's watching. I know nobody can put their hands up, but, I don't think there's many. My lovely horse. Yeah, instead of boycotting it, even though we were right to boycott it, I'm not going to sit here and say we were right. We should probably never go back to. We should stay away when we are away. But we should have said, and it's like, in fairness to OT, like, for the first time ever, I'm going to agree with OT, but they're actually doing some trolling. Like, OT's actually doing some good trolling, because they're playing the episode of My Lovely Horse tonight. On the Eurovision night, when there's the Eurovision final, they're playing the episode of My Lovely Horse. So in fairness, it's some trolling. Like, we should have said, like, in fairness, we should have got a few priests and sent them over to wherever the fuck they are in Vienna, and started singing about my lovely horse and stuff. Just like what you see in Father Ted there, saying, Hold on a second, I can get it." We should do that in protest. That would have been the most fucking amazing thing imaginable. It'd be better than sending Saki. Do you remember when we sent Saki off to the Eurovision? We sent the puppet off to the Eurovision. But yeah, that's what we did, because times were tough in the 90s, so we just had to send him off. But what I'm trying to say, it would have been the most fucking insane thing imaginable. Like, we should have Dustin the Saki, same thing, Dustin, same, yeah. But we should have sent Saki or Dustin or somebody over this year just to make shit of the whole bit out of it. Like, it would have been the best thing ever if we would have had Dustin the Turkey and 2 or 3 people dressed as priests singing "My Lovely Horse." Like, don't tell me that would be fucking not absolute similar. That'd be absolute cinema. Like, it absolutely would be cinema. And the best thing about it, we probably would win and all. Like, it would absolutely be cinema. Like, if we said Dustin the Turkey singing "My Lovely Horse" with 2 or 3 priests, and then Pat Mustard too, we get him on the go. And then we get Mrs. Dyer with the tea. With fucking amazing. We'll win the Eurovision. Like, we probably would win and all. That'd be the funniest thing. We probably would win and all. But Israel would be very upset over it. Because we wouldn't want them to do the Father Ted impression, of Hitler. But I don't think the Father Ted creator would appreciate it. That would be perfect. That would absolutely be cinema. Like, absolutely cinema. Like, absolute cinema. But no, like, in fairness, that they were right not to go to it, but it would have been the most fucking. We would have been trolling them to hell and to back. We would have fucking caused just so much trouble. So that's what they should do next year. So it would have been the most amazing thing imaginable. But in fairness, we were right to boycott it. We saved money. We saved money by not going to. So, and OT from not going to. Unfortunately, Marty Whelan is out of a job today. But Israel shouldn't be in it. Like, Israel has already been accused of fixing basically multiple voting in other countries. So they probably shouldn't be in it, Israel. And anyway, Australia and Israel and everybody else that's outside the European Union and outside of Europe shouldn't be in it. Like, what the fuck's they call the Eurovision if we're having people from Timbuktu coming in? And now they're saying that Canada wants to come in next year. So Justin Trudeau could be fucking singing next year for Canada. Yeah, no bother, Tisha, no bother. We didn't see Sean. Sean's not here. I was asking Sean actually in the comments yesterday, does he want to come on for a chat? And he didn't reply to me. Disgraceful. Me trying to get people on to have a chat with me, nobody wants to come on. Disgraceful. That nobody wants to come on. Nobody likes me. So yeah. The West has fallen. Yeah, I heard the boy McAvoy is doing good. I heard that. But the only person that's going to be happy at the moment is Sam Mowan, because she likes the Eurovision. She's all for the Eurovision. So she'll be living the life of Wiley this evening. I think she's already living the life of Wiley, but yeah. No bother, Paul. What did you miss? We were just talking about the Eurovision. I think what else we were talking about? We were talking about the relationship stuff. I think you were here for that, maybe. What else were we talking about? We were talking about other things, but I can't remember. We're talking about everything, basically, nearly. No, we're not really. Even people doesn't have to come on camera. But of course, I would have to know the person, because we wouldn't just let random people in. Just because you never know what they could say. It's not that I'm worried about what they could say. It's more what I'm worried about YouTube could say if somebody said something that YouTube didn't like. Because unfortunately, they would take it out of me instead of the person. But yeah, so we asked Sean on. He wouldn't come on. But the offer's there for other people too. We're not doing it tonight, of course, because we're here now. Not camera shy, Saoirse, but you could come on if you want. But you don't have to have your face on it. You can speak. I could have you here and you just speak and stuff. So it's not like we're going to put people's face like in on top of the camera or something like that. Yeah. But yeah. Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, she will be. I don't know where she'd be, but she'd probably be somewhere. But she likes the Eurovision. Especially because she might like it even more this year, because Finland's going to probably win it. So she's going to love it, I think. They'll be mocking my accent. Well, join the club. Join the club. Have you ever seen my channel? Like literally half the people who watch my channel, um, uh, like use subtitles. They can't understand me. Like I can't tell you the amount of times people have commented, "I can't understand you. You're going too fast. I can't understand your accent." Like literally 100 times people can't understand it. Like between that and Santa Mowan, it's the most commented thing. Between my accent and Santa Mowan, like they're the most two commented things. So don't worry about your accent because you should see my accent. Like nobody fucking understand me. It's America how she understood me. Um, oh, we know, but look at the comment sections of stuff, like videos and stuff. Like there's a billion comments of it. Like quite literally, well, probably literally 100 comments. I'm not. I kid you not. What else? Just to see where I am. Where I am. West has fallen. So I am a quiet buddy, just to say. I know that's such a statement, the quiet buddy. Yeah, I am a quiet buddy nowadays. Great stuff. The quiet buddy of cavan. But I just want to briefly touch on Donald Trump for a second. This is from 3 days ago, but I just want to talk about it. And he was asked, what does he think about American people's financial situation? And he basically said, I don't think of it at all. I don't think of the American people's financial situation at all, which is an amazing thing for a US president to say. But yeah. As somebody using yeah, but see, as I said, people are like some people are afraid to speak, especially about politics and stuff. I know people even in real life that they're afraid to speak. They have anonymous accounts and stuff. They're afraid to speak about your politics and stuff because they want to get a job or want to get into college and stuff. And understandably, they're afraid of that. And nowadays, unfortunately, things are so toxic that if you say the wrong thing online, somebody could turn up and try and get you and stuff like that. That can happen. But unfortunately, that's just the reality. That's what you just have to deal with in democracy. Of course, you shouldn't have to deal with it, but you know, that's the cause of freedom. Oh yeah, I'm not making any issue with you, man. I'm just saying in general too. I know people that make not really videos, but say comments from anonymous accounts online about politics and stuff because they're afraid to get sacked or fired from their job, etc. Understandably, and I don't hold it against. Like I don't hold anything against the man, Martin. Um, he's never done anything on me to upset me and that. Like some of the things he does raise are legitimate concerns. I'm not going to sit here and say he's not raising some legitimate. He is raising some legitimate things, and fair enough. And I have addressed them to the best of my ability. There's a few more things I probably need to address, but we get there at some point. But yeah, so I don't hold anything against him, but on that regard. Yeah, but see, I used to be anonymous when I was younger and stuff. When I first made political videos and stuff, I was anonymous, didn't have a face. My name was on the channel, but it didn't have a face. Didn't have a face. My face only turned up when I started doing YouTube. But yeah, even when I was doing gaming videos and stuff back in the day, I didn't have a face and stuff. But yeah, I stopped giving a shit. So that's how I put my face and stuff because I was like, fuck it, I'm going to say what I take. So your politicians and stuff can't say, oh, it's anonymous. They can't say stuff about us. Are you listening? What? Am I listening to? Wait, sorry. I'm too busy yapping. What are you saying for the easy host? I'm not easy at all. But Sean McKinnon, I don't talk to me about him. Paul Keogh, he probably was like he was Fine Gael, like he was in with Heather Humphreys and Heather Humphreys was the local TD, but he was in with the whole lot of them. Like he was in with the whole lot of them. Sean McKinnon, he was in with Leo Franco and all of them, so he was all the way to the top basically. So yeah. But yeah, Fine Gael backed him a lot. Like when he first was accused of it and stuff, like Fine Gael backed him a lot and then kind of backed down, understandably. Um, A wee bit young. Oh, Jesus. A wee bit young. Oh, Jesus. For the win, yeah. Mr. Boss for the win. Oh, Jesus. He's going to live the life of Wiley when GTA 6 comes out. You're a bit young. Bit young. Jesus Christ. Well, we have to get Sean on first because I did say Sean would be the first person to come on. So we have to get Sean on because Sean did say he wants to be the first person on, but Sean has a lot of stuff going on. But we have to try and get him on because So we see how we go. We work it out. We work it out at some point. We beat him up to get him on. Yeah, so Sean Max. Sorry, I mean you keep saying Sean. Yeah, 63. Oh, but I could pull up the Israeli tweet. But like one time Israel responded to somebody that Israeli Twitter account, and they were like, "Oh, age is just a number and stuff." We're not good with that far, but but I'm happy enough with it. Yeah. So a lot of actually you'd be surprised to know. You actually would be surprised to know. Let me just show you this. Let me see. Give me a moment, sorry. I'll go look it up. Washing cats, oh Jesus. But you know what I'm saying. So we try and get Sean on in it first. Hopefully. I probably will message him. I'll try and see maybe we can get him on Wednesday. Again, it doesn't have to be 7 hours. Just whatever time you want to spend. And 50 minutes. Not 50 minutes, but even 20 minutes if somebody wants to come on for 20 minutes. And again, of course, I won't put your face, unless you watch your face, of course, put on it. Give me a moment. I have to try and get this now. What am I looking for here? Sorry. Oh, yeah, the age thing. Yeah. Sorry, apologies. Give me a moment. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Sorry, give me a moment. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, apologies. Give me a moment. Sorry, having a mental. Surely. What is the audience? Yeah, sorry. It's been a while since I've spoken. Yeah. Where the fuck is this? Yeah, here we are. Just make sure I can show you these things. Yes. Yeah, no, I know where it is, but I'm just trying to make sure I'm not showing you something else. Probably won't lag. It might lag a bit. Go to lifetime. This is the last 28 days. You can see here 55 to 64-year-olds. Nearly 40% of my viewer base. 45. You can see this. Like, it's more older people that watch me. A lot of people say I act very old in a lot of ways. But I have 91% of males watching me, 9% of females. And just to show you the thing, like the subtitles, look at this. 5.9% think I'm speaking fucking double Dutch. In the last video. But just we go to lifetime. Hello, game. Thank you. It doesn't mind. It might take a while to load because I'm that fucking old on YouTube. Any day now. There we are. I think this is it. Yeah, this is it. Look at that. Still, in all the lifetime, there's nearly 9% of people still use. Like, obviously, this is not right. There's probably people use fucking other languages. But it's actually not that bad. I actually thought it would be worse. So it's only probably in the last few years people have kind of... because it's more the 25 to 34-year-olds. But you see, in 28 days ago, it was more these two. So it's weird. But it's kind of very varied. Like, looking at it this way. It is very varied. Like, it's all, like, near enough each other. Apart from this one here. It's all very near each other. Yeah, back again. Sorry. I never check mine. Yeah, I do check it because it's interesting. There's other stuff there, like who. There's loads of other details. Like there's a lot of details. There's some stuff that just drive you mad looking at it. But yeah, no. The last few years, there would be a lot more older people watching me than younger people. But you can see there that it is like through my lifetime, it's more in my age bracket, I suppose. But there is a lot of older people watching me. See, a lot of younger people nowadays, whatever is young, I don't want to know people's ages, but a lot of people don't have the concentration to listen to somebody speak. They want quick 6-7. They want 6-7 stuff. They want meme content. They want somebody fucking yapping around the place and jumping up and down, fucking like Nick Francis or something like that. There was somebody like that that's jumping, constantly jumping, doing the hooky bucky and doing cartwheels and all that. They need action. That's where they need hope and action. But yeah, yes. Yeah, I know that. Like, we've seen it. I don't know if we've seen it. But like, I'm not showing you this now, but because I'm just afraid of showing you something that you probably shouldn't see. It's inappropriate. Well, not inappropriate, but what the fuck do you call it? Secret information, top secret. But generally, you probably shouldn't really show your YouTube studio, like on stream and stuff. Because I did see one time back, what was it? Like, YouTube itself sent an email out, and they said about the YouTube studio particularly. But I think that's more if you have monetization on. I think that's more what it's about. Not so much when you're not getting monetized. I'm not sure. I can remember something about it. YouTube said something about it. I tell you, in the last 28 days. So the majority of people watch me on my phone. Is that correct? Yeah, wouldn't it? He was in, what do you call it? Within fucking, what the fuck? Oh, I can't take it. You know who I'm talking about. None that they're interested. They're true from my age group, a little older too. Yes. Hello, Brian. Good evening. How are we keeping? I hope we're all well. That racing. Oh no. Well, it doesn't tell you Keith Woods. That was it. Sorry, my mind went blank. Sorry, I apologize, but my mind just went fucking totally blank. Oh yeah, well, I'm always known for getting things off my chest. Anyway, I'm not. Maybe it's radical. Maybe as I should be. But sure, I'm radical enough. Never watch my phone. Yeah, actually, the majority of people who watch my channel watch on my phone, like on the phone, my phone. They watch specifically my phone. Like looking at notifications today, for example, subscribers who turned on all notifications, 88%, 18%. Sorry. Yes, and the notifications are fucked in or something. Majority of people watching me are subscribed. Majority of people not watching me are. But basically, all on this, probably can show you this. See, I don't want it to lag. It might lag a bit. Can you see my screen? You probably can, yeah. Like, this is from the last 28 days, as you can see. So this is Ireland, and this is the United Kingdom. So you can see it's very, pretty much Ireland. But if I was talking about international stuff a lot more, I would get a lot more views from Ireland. So, of course, the United Kingdom. There's been a lot of people from the United Kingdom recently when it came to the EU video. A lot of people have seen that from the UK. But, yeah, so we look at lifetime. I still don't think it's Finland. Like, Finland is a lot. We have a good bit of people from Finland. Here, a good bit. But then again, you can look at shorts and lives and stuff. It's different. Now, it takes a few minutes because I'm so long on YouTube. But you can see there, 60%. Look at this. Like, subscribed. We have more people subscribed than not subscribed. But 60%. Like, look at that there. 60% of my view base are from Ireland. Probably be Finland underneath Canada. I'm not showing anything here that I shouldn't be showing. Big screen. Oh no. Are you going to show me this thing? So I'm here since June 2016. My anniversary soon coming up. So you can see actually all this. When I first started YouTube, I had fuck all basically happening. I don't know what happened here that caused all that. But you can see the page is not responding. I think it's banjoed. I think you. Oh no, it isn't fine. So you can see here. Look at this: 300,000 people, view-wise, have always watched me from Ireland. Oh my God, but yeah. So look at here: Finland, New Zealand has more. We probably know who that is. But yeah, Canada, for whatever reason, Canada, Australia, probably Irish people over there. But yeah, Finland, all the way down here to there. Disgraceful. Oh my God, it's still not working. I give up. It's laggy bit, laggy. But yeah, but it's mainly Ireland to be watching from. No surprise. Greta Thunberg, yeah, this. The comments, what comments? Which comments? Oh, the comments here, they're all far right extremists. I need to get Keir Starmer on the phone. He's the only man to sort all this out. But Ireland. Oh wow. I just look at now we fucking started this fucking shit. We're supposed to talk about serious stuff here, and now we're on talk about fucking how many people watched this and how many people done this. Where am I? Lifetime. Just looking at this just to see. Takes 10 years. Oh my god, everybody's chatting. I probably missed half of the stuff here. Yeah, you were born just before the millennia, yes. As a co-fire. That's not an important topic. What do you mean? Not important. Oh my god. So 37,000 people over my lifetime have clicked English subtitles. Like, what the fuck? 37,000. Think about that. 37,000 people over all my lifetime. Just to say, it's 14,000 hours of watch time. So half the people who fucking watch me don't understand me, just to say. 37,000. 37,000. Think about that for a second. It's weird to look at the fucking subtitles. A good lot of Finnish. There's some Ukrainian, Portugal, Hungary, Germany, Japan. Irish ought to translate. What? Yeah, so Finnish is the highest. Yeah, Finnish along with English is highest. Well, but geez, that sounds nice. It's better than watching fucking, I don't know, Michal Martin listening to him. So yeah. Oh my god, so much happening. So there we go. But I was going to say, yeah, the new government regulations to do with rent and accommodation. Over 50%, there's been a huge increase basically in people being evicted from their properties in rented accommodation. Over 50% increase just in the last few weeks since the legislation was passed about a month ago or so. So a 50% increase in people being evicted from their properties, apartments, houses. Of course, the government knew this. Let's put it that way. Everybody was telling them. I told them this too, that it would cost a lot of people to sell up and for a lot of corporations to come in and buy up all the properties. And that's what has happened. So we're basically seeing people being kicked out of the home. So it's basically the plantation 2.0, basically, in a lot of cases. And what I mean by that too is what we've seen in the famine too. That, oh no, he's only joking, dog. He's only joking. Don't mind him. So basically, we're seeing what we're seeing in the famine, basically, where Irish people were kicked out of their homes to put British people in, basically. So that's what we're seeing here. And the unfortunate thing is that the government were told this. The government were told this long ago, and they still brought it in. So. But unfortunately, there's thousands of people, and we could be looking at 10,000 or more that's been affected in the last few weeks. Like, it's insane numbers. When you really put it on a page and look at it, it's a lot of people. And the unfortunate reality is there's nowhere for people to go. So that's but the streets. Like, there was a couple in Mayo, and I think they're English. I know some people are saying they were English, but they've been here 30 years, and they were kicked out of their home in Mayo. I think because the landlord wants to sell up or something. But they have nowhere to go. So. Oh, I didn't see that. No, I know about Ballymoy. What's the story in Ballymoy? What would you like to know? You're from the kingdom. But you're from down Healy Ways country. Yeah, like they don't care. You could be fucking near your, like you could literally be dying on the floor and they still would kick you out of the house. Like the people who are evicting you from your house. Like you could be literally on your last breath and they still would fuck you out in the road and leave you there. Like these people don't give a shit about anything. The people that are going the world, like the office, like not the office, the Gaudi do help to facilitate it. But the people that employ are supposed to do it. But a lot of people just leave without having an argument about it, I suppose. But there's not really much you can do when the landlord is selling up and stuff. It's different when the landlord kicks you out. But it's like I wouldn't mind if they're getting it for free, but a lot of people are paying a huge amount of money for accommodation. Oh, so that was a long time ago too. There was the Ebola outbreak in Africa, but so they were on about this virus, the thing that's spread by rats and stuff, rat droppings and stuff. They were on about that, so they'd be more likely that than there would be the Ebola thing, because the Ebola thing's been around a long time. It's never really gone away. The Ebola was always in Africa, anyway. Like in isolated places in Africa. It's more the other thing that the World Health Organization and the government would close down the country over and lock people in their homes and have a 15-minute city. It's more that because the Ebola it's never been really eradicated. It is a thing that's serious and stuff, but it's always kind of been around in one space or another in Africa for the last maybe 30 years. And this sort of virus too has been around for a good while too. It's just not that prevalent that it happened because again it's by rat droppings more and things like that. It's not that prevalent. It has existed. It's not like it just turned up one day and existed. Homemade pizza. Oh Jesus. Oh, it's the Starship flight on Tuesday. Oh Jesus. Yeah, I vaguely remember like that too. But it wasn't that big of a deal compared to other stuff. Back then, it wasn't like a huge thing. It was a big thing, but still wasn't huge. They did. In fairness, they didn't lock down the country, but locking down the country. Like Fiona hasn't been here actually yet, or Sean. So they're going to come in now, probably in the next 10 minutes, and say, "Oh, I didn't get a notification," because I've been literally hearing that for the last week. No notification, no notification, no notification. What the fuck is this? What the fuck kind of shit is this? Also, the two by-elections are coming up, just to say, in Galway West and in Dublin Central. I don't know if people know that. That the two elections coming up, not this week coming, next week. Oh my God. And I was. Why is can I ask why is a councillor? Now I know people would say this, but why is what do you call your man? He's a councillor in Tipperary or somewhere. What do you call him? He was with the farmers that time of the protest. I don't know if people remember. Thomas McDonald, isn't it? Tom McDonald. I'm seeing blank for some reason. Am I right in saying that he was with the farmers and stuff? Does people know who I'm talking about? Just so I know, because I'm having a bit of a brain aneurysm here. With names and stuff. I don't know why mine seeing blank when it comes to names. Going door to door selling pizza. Oh Jesus, is that what I get? Oh, Gordon, yeah. Well, Gordon probably just didn't never got notifications. I'd say that's why. But I haven't seen him on the comments or anything. Like, um, Tony, yeah, but Tony probably here. He's probably busy watching something. Yeah, Thomas McDonald. Yes, that's who it is. Yeah, he was at Tommy Robbins. I just literally seen that there. I'm like, what the fuck? I don't mean to tell him what to do and stuff, but going to Tommy Robinson's thing. Like we probably shouldn't have anything to do with Tommy Robinson. We want to be our own people, basically. But again, it's if he wants to do it, he can. But why is the Finnish destroyer just in the Straits of Gibraltar? But yeah. Um, but I don't know why he's there. Like, why is he there? Um, does anybody know? Yeah, but not even that. We probably shouldn't have much to do with him. Yeah, that's I'm just have to see him there. Like, I don't know why he went there or why was he doing. Because I wouldn't have went. I wouldn't go to Tommy Robinson thing. I know it's the old probably sectarian stuff people would say, but I wouldn't go to Tommy Robinson thing. I wouldn't. Not even that he was an Israeli, works for Israel and stuff. It wouldn't be a great look having an Irish person go to a British nationalist thing, because especially because you have to remember, a lot of British nationalists still want Northern Ireland to remain part of the UK and stuff. Like Tommy Robinson probably still would think that he wants to still be part of the United Kingdom. If that makes any sense. And not to mention Reform UK and stuff like that. Their immigration policy is let's send them to Ireland. Let's put them all into Ireland. Let's send them all to Ireland. That'll solve the issue. So I don't know why he did it, but he's going to face hell. Just to say, like if people wouldn't like people call me paid by Tommy Robinson and paid by Nigel Farage. Imagine that, and me never even talked about Tommy Robinson or Nigel Farage. Very sad. Like I'm not here fangirling over them and stuff. There's, like some people in the Irish nationalist community too. Like they do fangirl over Tommy Robinson and stuff. It's insane. But again, it's their own right. Because I'm supposed to be talking about fangirling over people. But yeah, whatever, but a British person that, I do, you get what I'm saying. That's what I'm just saying. Yeah, I play High 4 and stuff on the PC a bit. But yeah, like I don't think it's any of our business. That's what I'm trying to say. Now I know people disagree with me. I don't think it's any of our business being over in London. That's to be totally honest. That's my view on it. But again, it's if he wanted to do it, he can do it. But I'm trying to say his people that voted for him in his constituency would say you're a councillor for our area. You're supposed to be looking after us first, and not even that too. And again, I hate to start division or cause an argument over, but not even that too, because the media is going to say, "Oh, the Irish far right are with British unionists and stuff." That's what happens every time that happens. Oh, look at them talking to Irish unionists and stuff, British unionists trying to get closing up to Tommy Robinson and stuff like that, because you see it all the time, and I get it all the time. I haven't even went near them, so like But again, that's just my point. I wouldn't have done it if I was a couch. I wouldn't go to. I wouldn't go in 10 foot with it. But I don't know. But I know there was supposed to be an Irish fellow from Dubai or something going to speak, so I don't know was he stopped from going. But yeah, I'm listening. Yeah, like I don't get why. Like there was supposed to be somebody from Dubai who was supposed to go an Irish fellow, but I never heard of him in my life. But as I say, I mean no disrespect that he's done good work when it came to the farmers' protests, etc. I mean no disrespect to him in that regard, but I don't think it was a great decision. Again, it's his own personal opinion what he does, but I don't think it's beneficial to his constituents. If that makes any sense. To be totally honest, that's just what I say. I mean no disrespect to him personally. I'm never the person that's out for drama and stuff. But the unfortunate thing is, unfortunately, if there was a United Ireland, you still would have to deal with the unions and stuff. Like even where I am in Cavan and stuff, you come across unionists. You do come across them. Because it's such a close between cavan and stuff. I've often had to talk to unionists and stuff, but I would keep them at an arm's length. I wouldn't be there speaking at the events and stuff like that. If it makes any sense. I would keep them at an arm's length. I would talk to them. I would maybe say hello to them just to keep the peace. But I wouldn't, go over to them, if that makes any sense. I wouldn't go over to speak at the events. Because it was often, like I went to Enniskillen that time. This is back last year. I was in Enniskillen and stuff. We had to meet with people in the Democratic Unionist Party and stuff like that. But it was more for the government and stuff. It was a government kind of thing. It's to do with cross-border relations and stuff, the peace process and stuff. But at the same time, too, I didn't cozy up to them. The rest of them were kind of talking among them. I said what I had to say to them. That was it. To keep the peace, to keep the peace. That's the main reason why I went there at that time. But it wasn't like I was up taking pictures with them or, talking to them much. I said what I had to say, and that was pretty much it. Even though I've nothing against them, they have their views, I have my views, but, it's still not great for an Irish person to be, being with them, I suppose, in that regard. Some of the farmers, the government would clarify them as far-right extremists for some of their views, the very far-right extremists. That's what we basically said. So some of them definitely have some far-right tendencies and might become some extremists. Well, it's not so much Heather Humphreys, it's her husband that has more links to the Orange Order. It's not so much her, it's her husband. Neil Richmond definitely does, but but it's more Heather Humphreys' husband, not herself. Like that did hurt Heather Humphreys a lot. Because she was asked, was her husband ever in the Orange Order and stuff? And she said, I don't know. And even though she knew, but she didn't know what to say. So that hurt her. That didn't help her either. But the thing I still remember is the thing I still remember does anybody know actually what's happening in Ennis in County Clare? Where is Greenface here? He's probably gone for his cocktails. But what is happening in Ennis? Because the media are talking about Ennis at the moment, that people are afraid to walk the streets of Ennis, students particularly. So what has happened? Of course, I've heard 3 or 4 things about it, but I don't know what's true and what's fake. What is this? Looks into the camera. So apparently, what I'm being told here, that the councillor we were talking about, Tom, that he's talked about sending a letter to Donald Trump. Now I don't know what good that's going to do, but I don't know about that one, because I do think it's up to us to sort our own politics out. But yeah. Yeah, I don't know what's happened, but that's what I'm saying. I don't know what exactly is the problem. Are they talking about people hitting people? Are they talking about people stealing stuff? What is the story? The media are saying this problem, students are afraid and stuff, but they're not saying what exactly. They're saying there's been antisocial behaviour. They're saying there's stuff happening, but we don't know what exactly they're talking about. That's what I'm trying. I don't know what exactly that. And I've seen things online saying, "Oh, this happened and the other thing happened," but there's not much evidence to suggest that this did happen or this other thing happened. So I don't know. But then, if Greenface is here, if Greenface does come in, we ask him because he's from Clare. He should be able to tell us. He's the spokesman for Clare. He's our correspondent for Clare. He's letting us all the know all the news in Clare. But yeah, all the news in County Clare. Yeah, he was here. To be totally honest, I should have asked him because I had it in my head, but I forgot all about it. And I'd seen him earlier. I wouldn't mind, but I did see him here. Like I seen him earlier on, but I just didn't come to my brain. See, my brain is a bit slow today. I can't even think about that because I couldn't remember Keith Woods' name and stuff. So I don't know what's happening with my brain. But sometimes you can be like that when you have dyslexia. It can kind of muddle you, and that's the thing. It muddles you a bit when you talk about so much, and when you're trying to process so much and talk about so much, it can muddle you. Yeah, but I don't know if these are how do those Ukrainians? Like in fairness, the Ukrainians is not. Ukrainians mainly just take the money. They're not really causing much trouble in that regard. It's more the people that's causing the trouble. People from Romania and stuff that's more likely to cause the trouble. It does happen, of course. There's Ukrainians that do cause trouble, but it's mainly Romanians and other people. Yeah, but with dyslexia and stuff, it's totally just 10 times worse. Because it can affect your brain. It's not just spelling and writing and grammar. It affects your brain too. It's a long story behind it, but it kind of can clog your brain. It's a long story, but it does affect the way you act and stuff. It's not like it's a mental disorder, I suppose you call it too. That's what some people often refer to. It is a mental disorder. That it is. It does affect your mind and stuff. That's the way people. That's what we call the special needs and stuff. It does affect you. It's not like a physical ailment. It's not like you have a problem with your hand or a problem with your leg and stuff. It's more a mental thing. It's something to do with your brain. AKA being a lunatic. No, we're not lunatic, but what would you call it? As people would often say to me, being a retard or a simpleton. But a simpleton is a bit different, but Scooby Doo, yes, that's what we need. He'll solve the case. Pellegrinito. We're doing Catherine Connolly stuff here. Where is Catherine Connolly these days? Nobody has found her. Well, nobody wants to find her, but Quote of the day. But yeah, is there anything else? Because I've talked about a good bit. There's about a million other things I could say. Now, listen to this. Um, boom, boom. Sorry, 1 second. Sorry, I'm just doing two things here. So. Sorry about that. Just sorry, doing two things. Get Daphne. No, I don't want Daphne. No, she can keep Daphne. You can keep her. I don't want her. Yeah, Scooby Doo's and dogs live stream. Every live stream with all the dogs. Um, floating classroom. Floating classroom. What? Yes, of course. I love that. The West has fallen. Of what classroom? Also, good news. The Pope has done the 6-7 meme. The Pope has done 6-7. So yeah, there you go. The Holy Father himself has done the 6-7. What the fuck? So are we all happy that the Pope has done the 6-7 meme? So it finally has the Pope's blessing, that meme. Now it's a miracle how Keir Starmer is still the British Prime Minister. It's a miracle how he's still there. But he might not be there for much longer soon, sooner or later. Me being on a dating app. Oh, you mean the Pope? That was the Pope being on a dating app. Oh, Jesus. I didn't know Pope Leo was that into the women. Oh, Jesus. The Pope going on a dating app. That'd be an interesting one now. The Pope, oh jeez. Like no person, like if you were on a dating app now and you're a woman and stuff, like imagine seeing I'm the Pope Leo, like you wouldn't believe it. Like let's be fair, you would fucking say this is bullshit. Like nobody would believe it that this is the actual Pope. And not to mention too, it would be very against because obviously priests can't get married. Protestant priests can get married, but Catholic priests can't, and your bishops and stuff. They devote their life to God, basically. Even though I think that should be changed personally, I do think it should be changed that priests can get married. I do think that's. I know people would say that's sacrilegious and stuff, but I do think it's important because it would probably encourage a lot more young men to join the priesthood. If they could have a relationship, because it is no awful lonely life. And particularly when you look at the Bible and stuff like that, it's always talking about reproduce and having a family and stuff. I do think that's important to get a Christian man that's very focused on his family, family values, etc., and having children and has a wife, etc. I do think it's very good for the church and stuff. Oh no, we're not going that far, Brian. We're not doing that. Oh no, we're not going there. We don't want to go there. Just give me 2 seconds. Just have to do look at this. Yeah. Oh, but I think we might leave it there for tonight. We were nearly live 2 hours, would you believe? So we talked about a good bit. We went on a good bit about things, unless anybody has anything else. Job there, yeah. You have jobs to do. Job to do. It's coming a lot more common with Orthodox Christians, yeah. Well, supposedly, yes. Let me see. Where is that controller? Where is that controller? But yeah, is there anything else before we go for tonight? I did put up a video there earlier on. I probably will have a video up tomorrow on the Cavan channel, the Breathany channel. Yeah, that GEA game is probably going to be the next thing. It's out in the Tread the 8th. I think it's next week, not this week, coming next week, isn't it? The Tread the 8th. Yeah, it's actually not this Thursday, coming the next Thursday. Yeah, so we might play it on that day. We might wait until Friday. We'll see how we go. Because I'm finishing college that Friday, the Friday night. But we see, might do it on Saturday. We see how we get on. But yeah, I'm most likely will, because we have to kind of have a look at it and see what it is, because it's been a long time since there was a game really based in Ireland. So that's what we're going to do. Hopefully all go well. Obviously I'm going to be fucking rubbish at it. Because I never was any good at them, like the football games and stuff. Never was any good at it. So I'm going to get better 100 times over. Yeah, it's probably just died. Like a lot of games are just dead nowadays. It's the same with Call of Duty. Call of Duty's just dead. Nobody cares anymore. Like it's just dead. It's the same with there used to be other games. There used to be like what the fuck do you call them? Like many other games. There used to be games that were so popular, and now they're just not talked about a lot nowadays. Like Medal of Honor used to be big back in the day and stuff. Now it's not. But then there's other ones. Yeah, thank you, dog. Appreciate it. We'll probably stay for another second or two. But just because there might be something else that I just want to say. Yeah, like Call of Duty nowadays is just dead. But anyway, I think that's it for tonight. That's all she wrote on. But anyway, we'll be back hopefully Wednesday. We'll probably have a video up on the other channel tomorrow. There's a video already for today here. But anyway, thank you everyone. Enjoy the rest of your night, and we chat again. Hopefully next Wednesday. So we see you then. Thank you everyone. Enjoy the rest of your night, and we see you then. Bye.